Okay, and we're back here. So I've already went ahead and cleared out my development workspace before we start the next section of doing things, so there's nothing here. What we're going to do is work on the actual placement code for the sentries. Now, we have been placing sentry guns and you've seen them spawn and everything, but there's only been one sentry gun actually working. That has been intentional, as I've been forcing the sentry gun to initialize itself under a set data set. We don't want it to work that way. We want this to actually recognize what it is, so that way we can pretty much recall what the object is. This is going to be done pretty much down here. Right now we've been doing this, so we don't want this anymore. And we want to put a check here, so we want to go sentry data doesn't equal null. And we want to go right here, and we want to load the sentry stack, and from the sentry stack we want to get whatever sentry we are. So sentry data equals armory data handler dot instance dot get, and we want to get sentry, and then we want to, actually we can avoid doing this whole thing by doing it this way. Armory dot item sentry dot get data, and then we can pass in sentry stack. So that should give us our data, and we should get something. So now what we have to do is make sure that when we place the sentry gun, we place with sentry stacks. We gotta fix this little typo down here, and this should all function properly. We do need a packet handler to synchronize the sentry data across the network. This is actually surprisingly pretty easy to do. We need to write description packet, so we gotta go find our right description packet code. Yeah, we'll set this at the top. So now actually you kind of always want to sort of put anything that's MBT related at the bottom of your list. It works better. I've had issues where trying to load an item stack doesn't exactly work. Right item stack, and we would go buff, and we would go sentry stack doesn't equal null. Sentry stack if not, new item stack. The reason we're doing this is this acts as our null. So we're going to use that as our null check. Then we need to go to the client, and we need to go right here, and we want to go sentry stack equals byte buff utils dot read, and we go from buff. And then what we want to do is we want to go if sentry stack dot get item equals items dot apple. And then we want to go sentry stack equals null. That makes sure that our sentry stack on the client stays null, but we don't have to worry about it in PE when we load in and out. Everything else looks good. No other issues. Yeah. So that handles that. We're going to close all of this out, and we're going to go hunt down our sentry item. So the sentry item is a separate item, as we note here. We want to go find the item block class. So we're going to go fork some code from here. Okay, so we want this, and we want another part that's above it. I just had to really quickly read over the code to make sure I am grabbing what I do need to grab. That would be this section. I don't know what this is. Apparently that's not used by anything. So on item use is what we want to use to actually place our thing, and this is the code that actually does the placement. Yeah, we're good there. This is our blocks. This will be armory dot block sentries. What this will actually be, and we just want to do pretty much the normal code here. Nothing special when it comes to this part. Once again, the reason we're not using an item block for this is we would have to take this entire class file and duplicate it. Which, you know, actually doesn't feel like that's too big of a deal right now. Because I actually kind of prefabbed item base out to quite a bit of extent. Yeah, we'd have to duplicate this whole section here, which would actually be a pain in the butt. This is not too much of an issue. But we're going to do this because it saves us a lot of time. So we want to do this. Just kind of replace all of these variables. And we want to start refactoring things. So this is going to be the stack. And yeah, you guys can get the picture of what the rest of this stuff is called. It's not too complicated. This format's pretty much the same on all methods. If you ever see methods that look like this, they're pretty much made this way. So there's some consistency at least in it. I'm happy that even though we get this jumbled mess of stuff, that all the data is almost always the same. There's no change in the data. If there's a change in the data, that would really mess stuff up because you wouldn't catch it right away. There'd be a lot of other problems with it too. So many problems. Of course, JUnit testing would take care of a good majority of this if we ever had it. So we want to get the block. We want to check to see if we can place on the block. A lot of this is pretty simplistic. We get some stepping sounds. Really, we're just mimicking pretty much a block placement. We do want to do a couple things. We do want to set the stack, and we do want to do other things, but everything else is pretty much a mimic of what Minecraft does. So we go placement, meta, and we want to go rename this to actual meta. And we need this method. No, we don't need this method. This is actually good. We can ignore that. Because our sentry guns are not placed with a metadata value. That's good. It's all MBT stuff. So what we want to do, we could handle this on block placed, but we're not going to do it there. We're going to go tile entity tile equals world.get tile entity x.y.z, etc. And then we're going to go tile is instance of tile sentry. Then we're going to go tile dot sentry stack equals stack dot copy. So this sets our sentry stack. Then we want to actually go ahead while we're at it. Sentry data equals get data stack. That way it's already preset. So this will run before even the first tick of that tile clicks. So before anything ever gets to update, our data is already set. And then this should save and load and etc. And we will need to do some stuff with the side here. This will end up allowing us to place sentry guns upside down. Right now we don't have implementation for that, and I'm not going to add implementation for it at the moment because rotating is going to be a pain. I truly mean that. Probably make it work though. We'll experiment with it later, because that was the biggest complaint people had with the old version of ICBM sentries. Is just like, I want to place my sentry gun upside down. I want to place it sideways. I'm like, yeah, we'll make it happen. Just be patient. And we actually made an attempt. So item used to hold. There we go. This all should work without any issue whatsoever. Stack size minus. Might need to change that. Don't think I do. Might need to, though. Okay, can't think of anything else. I might want to add some multi-block code here later, but that's going to be a later thing. And those will be basically non-collider multi-blocks, and those will be used to prevent you from placing blocks in the sentry gun's rotation angle. Ignoring the barrel, of course, because I don't really care. If you guys want to make a barrel go through a wall, that's your guys' prerogative. Load this though. and we're gonna see how it's gonna work. And if we get this means sentry guns are basically usable. I just got to add permissions, entity selection, better AIs. Ray tracing's already there, a couple more particle effects, and pretty much it. Eventually I'm going to make an editor for this stuff too, by the way, both in-game and out-of-game. Basically, in-game and out-of-game are probably going to use the same code though. The only difference would be is the out-of-game would use a Java FX GUI system, and the in-game would use a Minecraft GUI system. They both display the same data. And if I pull it off, I might just make a system that loads Java FX GUIs. They're XML driven. I can actually show you guys one. There we go. I actually want to edit that with Notepad. So here's what this looks like. This is basically XML. This is how GUIs work. This produces this. Pretty straightforward. I can make that work in Minecraft. Of course, we left all of our TERT stuff open. I'm going to close all this because I don't need it anymore. We're going to wing it when it comes to everything else. I thought about copying the settings perfectly, but the reality of, I think we changed the settings on the sentry guns almost every few versions because we couldn't balance them quite right. I'm going to let mod pack makers and server owners balance this stuff because I don't do PvP in Minecraft anymore. I have barely ever played Minecraft at this point. I just make mods for the hell of it. Anyways, sentry block is not going to work anymore. We need to be able to do this stuff. Boom! Sentry gun. Look at that. Look at that beautiful gun. It's rotated backwards though. So the render's 180 for this one too. Oh, you know what the render's 180? Because I'm sitting here trying to think of like, why is that 180? That model should be actually dead on. It's 180 because we left in the rotation code for the other sentry gun. I just need to delete this section. If we change this to 0.2, should fix the render. And let's go test the other gun. So we got Wojujo's sentry gun. Boom, his works perfect. I like that. So we're gonna do a save and quit real quick and see if these save their system. Nope, they both defaulted to backup render's working. That means they didn't load properly. They're supposed to delete themselves if they don't load properly. I don't see any errors. It's definitely a bug in the tile sentry. The reason I'm doing this, I think this might actually be the problem. This is armory.item sentry.get data sentry stack. This might actually work. Or not. The sentry data is literally null. Okay. So we can't just say I don't want to open the sentry gun, so we're gonna have to fix this, and we're gonna have to go if sentry doesn't equal null and sentry data so we're just gonna not show the GUI if it's broken. That's a real easy way to fix this. We want to put an error on the screen that goes GUI data corrupted. So that'll fix that, fix that. I don't know what's wrong with the description data. And we need to check the right data. So sentry stack doesn't equal null. We saved as sentry stack. Write it to NBT, so that should have worked. Get compound tag. Yeah, that shell should have worked. It has to be some kind of packet issue. So we're going to do this, and we're going to mark a point here, and we're going to mark a point here. So that hit save already just by me hitting that spot, or closing the screen. Yeah, we saved because we go to NBT here, open the tags up. Wow, that's a lot of tags. Sentry stack's right there. And it saved ID, count, damage 1. So it saved everything in order to be functional, because it's all metadata driven. So we don't have to worry about anything extra. So that's good. And we hit save again for some reason. Oh yeah, it's where we have multiple sentries. So the save, we know the save code works. We hit save and exit. We go to single player. We open it back up. And we hit the load code. We indeed have a stack. Sentry stack is an armory sentry data 1. Sentry data is loaded, so we loaded it in a sentry gun. So right there it is. Battery in, all of our settings are there. So it's not that. We go into here. Sentry data is server, maybe? Oh yeah, is server is what just failed on that check. Okay, there's our second tile, so we know this works. So our data is loaded correctly. We're not getting this because it's not synchronizing. And it's trying to shoot through me, by the way. Friendly fire is going to be a thing with the sentry guns. Be prepared for that. Don't stand in front of your sentry guns. They will shoot through you. Packet handler. That's where it's got to be. So now we are looking at write description packet. So this writes the entity ID. This writes our is alive stuff, has ammo. Writes to our byte. We fucked up there. That's not where that goes. This goes over here. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Sentry stack doesn't equal null. Fixed. Cool. So this shows that this proof of concept works now. We can make sentry guns from JSON data. They use the same gun objects and everything. This is going to be pretty revolutionary, in my opinion, when it comes to things. The only other mod that did this is Flans, as far as I knew, and it didn't do it very well. I don't know even what their format looked like. I never actually got into looking at how their guns operate or anything. But this whole system is pretty flexible. You don't have to stick your mods into an external folder. You don't have to do all this micromanagement to get the mods to work. They are treated as if they were real mods. They are loaded as if they're real mods, and their content registers to Forge as if they were real mods. The only difference is we're loading all the data as JSON. It's cool. Anyways, we're going to restart to see if we can fix that positioning data for the classic Sentry gun. We're going to have to do some inventory modifications. I'm going to have to go look up what the old inventory sizes were on the Sentry guns. I think Wojujo's Sentry gun is going to probably only have like 2 inventory slots or something. I'll ask him. He'll tell me. I can close that. Still waiting on videos to upload my note. So I've got the first Men of War video still has an hour left on it. The second one isn't having me queued. The third video, which is in queue right now, is the last video I made, and then we're going to toss this video in queue after that. My brother's going to be pissed because he's awake right now and he can't go play his Call of Duty style games, which is, I think Dirty Bomb is what he plays, which is a mashup between Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch and a few other game types. I mean, it's its own game. It actually does look pretty well. It looks like it plays very nicely. Whoever built it did a really good job on it. But it is, you can tell, it's very heavily themed after other games. Let's see if we can fix this. I feel like putting my own icon down here. Just when it hits Volts Engine mods, just have an icon down here that's different. It'd be like a rocket being assembled or something. Just something really dumb to do like that. Or, you know, I'll put it on the opposite side over here. So it'd be like, we're assembling the rocket. Well, watch me do that, and then you'll see like every mod will have an icon now, and it'd be like, ah, come on guys, you ruined the special fun of it. I don't even know if you can hijack the loading phase, to be honest, to change that. Probably could. Aha, look at that. And it's centered perfectly. Look, that barrel position is almost perfect. I just need to pull it back by, I want to say, 0.2 on length, and it's dead on. So we're going to grab our Sentry object and do that, and where are we at recording time? We're at 22 minutes. Wow, we got time to kill. So barrel length is going to be 0.8. Yeah, it's pretty good. I need to up the height, I think, maybe. Yeah, the height needs to go up by another 3 blocks. We still got to test collision on these so you can see if we can kill them and stuff. Looks like the height needs to go up on this one as well. You know, I have a feeling maybe I messed the height up on these. Let me go find the entity, because I'm sitting here adjusting things and they may not need to actually adjust it. They just may be programmatically designed wrong. So there is a set data thing. There's a get body height and there's a get body width being set in here. So this is called set size. Yeah, it's with height. Okay, I don't think any of this has any bearing on our functionality. Maybe it just needs increased by a little bit. We probably could make the entities print off what their sizes are. I mean, it works mostly because you just have to aim a little lower if it ever fails. The positioning, I mean, the positioning entities is like perfect. It's right on top of that little platform thing. We can open up the turrets here. We can put ammo in them if we wanted to. Do we have an ammo for this? Did it actually load? It's going to be one of these things. Yeah, it's this thing. Okay, there's Wojujo Sentry ammo. There's ICBM Sentry ammo. There's a 9mm round right there. So we want to put this ammo in the gun, and we want to see if it fires. Boom. Boom. That clicking noise is going to get annoying. I'm probably going to turn it off. I need to make a bang noise for these. I could probably go copy it out of the old mod though, so it's not too big of an issue. Wow, man, that damage is good. Feels good to have these old Sentry guns back. The ammo check is working pretty good. I am probably going to make these clip-based people may like the nostalgicness of having those single rounds, but having that switch every single time it's loaded and unloaded just looks weird. So you see it load. Come on, load, 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 load. Can't have gone through all of your ammo already. So it has ammo, doesn't have ammo now. We could up its magazine size. We could say it's still breech loaded. No, it's not breech loaded. There's actually there's a type for this. So I need to go find clip data real quick. Reload type. There is a reload type that's designed for this. It's called hand fed. So we'll call it hand fed. And hand fed has a special property to it. You actually have to specify how many rounds you have. Luckily I can go grab the shotgun real quick because it's hand fed as well. Clip size. So we want to say our clip size maybe is 200. And we just got to make some reload behavior for this, like it's yeah. So you know what, I'm just going to call this into the video because I'm just going to sit here and probably listen to music and implement the rest of the sentry guns, and I'll get back to you guys later. And that way that gives the YouTube queue a little bit of time to upload. So I'll see you.